The minute that closes, confidence is done. There's going to be a run for the bank.
It's quite complicated to get working. I know there was a fair amount of skepticism out there. You really gotta earn the belief. The game wasn't built. The game wasn't built.
Haven't had an opportunity to work on them, but they are in the works.
Refactor them, change things out, retrofit it, refactor them, refactor them. People program things.
This is bullshit.
Hey Commandos, it's episode 7 here on the Star Citizen ARGcast. We've got Dapper Don and me, your virtual captain. Here.
How are you doing today?
What's up, Dapper? We left off talking about something or another. In the last episode, we touched on your Star Citizen backstory, but you didn't answer the question, when did you register on Something Awful? What was the driving force behind that?
Well, during the last episode, as we talked about, you know, as I went to the Star Citizen community, the official forums, or you know, the Reddit the subreddit. Like I said, when I had like all of the oohs and ahs and praise and, you know, all of the wide-eyed wonder of how pretty this game was, you know, they were like Steve Perry, you know, with all of these open arms and, you know, just so inclusive and wonderful and great.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where it was sappy sweet.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Sappy sweet, like, does that mean fake or what?
No, just like, I am so charged up and enthralled that you love this project like I do. Like that kind of fever.
Huh. Okay.
It was palpable.
And do you think people get stuck in that forever as a small tangent?
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And my experience with that kind of mindset is, you know, it's pretty deep into and of itself, and that's probably a topic for another conversation. But one thing I will say is that this is a mindset that hinges their decision making to almost a belief structure. It can't be moved.
I'm not too familiar with this. What's the word? I forget. I'm not too familiar with this, like, intoxication of praise on the project.
Well, it's what it is. The project in and of itself, whatever its current
the word I was searching for was ecstasy.
Well, it's not so much an ecstasy. It is a sense of completion. It is a sense of worthwhile endeavor that they have thrown themselves in. And it's nothing short of the if you replace Star Citizen, okay, with Xenu, then you would have Scientology.
Uh-huh.
All right. The pitch, the effort, the momentum, the denial of what's staring them in the face is nothing short of a religious zealotry.
I'm in
agreement. Star Citizen Tracker is unbiased. It doesn't have an opinion. The numbers do not lie. That is why it's irrefutable. It is the holy tome of which Star Citizen is gauged. There's nothing that you can say. There's nothing you can character assassinate. They've tried. It is a monolith of truth. It can't be altered. The only way it can be altered is by the success or failure of the actions of CIG and their by extension of Chris Roberts. It's that absolute.
Well, I appreciate your words as I guess you would call me the founder of that site. And yeah, that was kind of what I was going for. I didn't know I hit the mark so well for you, at least in this case. As a small tangent, I think the only thing I would change is like, we've got a few different categories. It would almost be easier to just do like a done, not done yet thing. But I do
No,
think
the
the
percent
categories are quite...
the percentages are even a more crucial indictment.
Well, not to go too far off the topic, tell us more about how you got involved with the other side of the equation. That's something awful
Okay.
is commonly associated with this.
Right. When did I become a goon? Well, I was a goon long before there was a name for that. But when did I come into the something awful fold? Well, that was during a time where, as I mentioned, I would bring my questions, and some of them were not so nice, to the community at large because there was no response from the official channels.
Okay.
And nor should you really expect one.
I don't know about that. When you wave the flag of we're the most open development AAA game in history, I'd expect a little bit of communication as far as how development's going.
Okay, well, to the layperson, again, I'm not a game programmer, but to the layperson, what they were showing on its face looked rather impressive. And I didn't think about it until later. It was the volume of information that they were trying to regurgitate over and over ad nauseum. Their website is a testament to redundancy. It was just a deluge of nonsense that had nothing to do with, here, buy this, and you can do that. It was just a proliferation of nonsense to baffle people with bull crap. And that right there, that is the essence of disingenuous snake oil salesman 101.
Okay.
And again, so for me, the onset was, I was just looking for kind of a cool, non-bloody, graphical, sexual, whatever overtured kind of game to play. Like you look at, what is that, Overwatch, and they got the girls like practically coming out of their top, that kind of stuff. I got a kid and I just like to play, what is it, Ratchet and Clank, we'd like to play those kind of games. And so a fun little space game, like I said, we could do like the Family Robinson and get lost in space. He was selling that. We could do this, and I thought that would be great. I didn't need to know much more than what they were showing me on face value. I shouldn't have had to become Magnum PI to go get my butt kicked every other week to find out that, no, they're not doing that. They're not making what it is that they sold me. And so I went to the community one by one, and all of the superstars that we've come to know now, one by one, what the community would call trolls. Well, they have their own brand of it, right? And those are the zealots in the Gorf chart. Gorf, love you. Those are the zealots in the Gorf chart, and they would be the very first ones to come out and start white knighting. And they were the very first ones, and this is going back to where at first the community didn't start eating its own that way.
So, as a summary, you had a couple questions there for the community, and first they embraced you, and hey, we got a new convert, or whatever.
Yes.
And then you started asking tougher and tougher questions, and they start to rebuke you, or they're turning you away, or they're maybe even demonizing you.
Oh my God! Yes. Next thing I know, I'm losing dudes.
Say that again. We got a bit of a cutoff there. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said next thing you know, I'm losing all of my little internet up dudes.
Oh,
You know, all my little my car. I'm like, what's going on? Why? How did all of a sudden a question get so like? Why are you all getting violent online? Next thing you know, I don't know this, I don't know that, and I'm like, hey, hold on a second. You know what? First of all, I'll say you're right. I don't know how to make video games, but what I will say I know how to do really well leads me to think what I've asked. And and then it started getting personal.
Okay.
And then it started getting ugly and vulgar. It wasn't before long, and we're talking in a span of days. Like, this escalated worse than any meme you've ever seen on the internet. Within days, all of a sudden, this guy, Derek Smart, I'm why don't you go worship on that guy, and you goon this and you goon that. I'm like, dude, I am 44 years old. I haven't played a game since, holy shit, forever ago. I'm just looking for something to do, and you guys are coming at me like this? And it was just, all right, so I started looking it up. Well, who's Derek Smart? Well, I find this very colorful individual on the internet, and I see he gives as good as he gets. Well, all right. Well, what's a goon? I mean, beyond the normal. And then I get led to the videos, and it was all about EVE Online. I'm like, oh God, I've tried to play that nonsense, and I just, I'm not that dude.
I'm surprised by some of the parallels in you and I's backstory, but it's very, very different. But continue.
Right. And so I'm like, I've tried it, and just EVE is just not my cup of tea. I mean, it had a couple of things that, this would be cool maybe in another game, but no, I'm not really into it. But then I stumble on the damn video of mention where he says, goons are not here to ruin the game. They're here to ruin your game.
And then this is an EVE video?
This is an EVE convention video. Buddy shows up on the panel with the leather bomber jacket and the flight cap.
Exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
He calls all goons HIV positive individuals, which is 100% true. Rite of passage.
Exactly. I could give 10 cares less about anything in life before that. At that moment, I knew that dude right there understood exactly what I was thinking. Okay. All right. So, all right. Who's something awful? All right. What is this dead gay comedy form? I'm expecting some really I need to be 18 to click this, and then it's going to be like nasty farm animal sex. It's just, I have no idea what I'm getting ready to step myself into here. And so I go in there, and it's just this crappy forum from the bad 90s, and I'm like, I'm in. These are my people.
I didn't know all that fake stuff actually worked.
Oh, it was great. And so I jump into the forum, and at the time, Derek Smart was the moderator.
Okay.
He was king of the mountain. And there was no shortage of brave squires who dared to come joust with the fucking warlord. And it was, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
All right, so I think we got the point. It is like, as soon as you're on something awful, boom, you hit with the non-hype version of where the project's at, and then boom, okay, you're not. The veil's been lifted.
Oh yeah, if you can hang your delicate sensibilities at the door, something awful is hysterical. Oh my God, it's hysterical, and the people in it are even better. Because after a while, if you jump into this place and you think you're just going to start chatting folks up, well, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a real bad time. you need to pay attention. You need to lurk. You need to hang out. You need to see how these communities interact, because some of them you need to keep your hands and feet in the ride while it's moving at all times. But really, it's a cast of characters that from sub to sub, it's like a different variation of a sub sitcom. I mean, it's nothing but hilarity. And it really doesn't get much more attention than it probably deserves in this day and age. But anyway, I digress. So I went to the forums, and I lurked for a long time. So anytime the paywall was down, and so I would look at low taxes and a few of the other popular goons
so you're still not
Reddit.
Registered at this point. You just
I am. No, I am.
Oh,
But I'm talking about way back then. I was a lurker long before I was a poster.
okay.
Because they were vicious. They had knives, and they would eviscerate you, and you would never want to come back there again if you came out of your pocket wrong. And it was just a really different way of being in an online community than anybody could have ever thought. It's interesting because, I grew up when the internet started. It bored me, and I left it to just kind of concentrate on work and family. And then all of a sudden I came back, and then it's this crazy other different thing. So it's been a kind of a little fun transition for me. So when I would bring the same grievances that I had with the actual Star Citizen community to the Something Awful community, well, they had answers that made sense. They had answers that were steeped in science and fact and truth. It wasn't dreams and possibilities and maybes. It was, potential. No, these are people that are, look, I do this for a living. Look, I'm a fucking game developer. I invented this science. Or, there's so many walks of intelligent life that storm throughout that forum. The answers made sense. The answers were easy to understand, even though I didn't understand them maybe the first or second go around, because a lot of these are highly complex. And like I said, if you're not into this kind of science, pardon the rest of us that are just regular laymen, that I'm just asking to understand your Icarus knowledge. And they're very patient in explaining this to you. But once they explain it to you, you better fucking take off and learn on your own from here on. They're not going to do it again. But
so you wanted to talk about refunds as well.
Yes. And so a lot of the people on the forums who have what you would call industry inside track knowledge, contacts, what have you, a lot of them have for a long time prophesized the end of refunds after 3.0 was delivered. Okay. And I can confirm that is just about true, because I put my refund in within a week after the delivery of 3.0, and I saw that it was not even 10% close to being anything near what Chris Roberts showed us live during his demonstration being played in front of God and everybody.
2016.
In 2016. At that point, I refuse to believe there is a single thing that man can ever say, do, or act otherwise in this lifetime that could exonerate him in any way. I want my money back, because Skadden is getting ready to gut them for everything that they have or ever will own. So there's not going to be anything left after the fall. People think that there's going to be, like this treasure trove of code and everybody in the industry is going to want it. No, they're not. No, they're what? Nobody wants this. All right, because first of all, there's a Coots loan that's going to have to be paid here real shortly long before this Crytek trial is over with. So that's going to be a fun little twist in the railroad track right there. Everybody pay attention to that. Coots is going to want their money before it gets tied up in this kind of litigation. Now watch when Chris Roberts doesn't have it to give. Watch what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes there when you gotta liquefy.
Well, that's going to be that right there. That is going to be the beginning of the end, because the very first office that closes, I don't care how small, it could be their janitor closet, supply business. The minute that closes, confidence is done. There's going to be a run for the bank, right? That legal bill doesn't stop ticking. It's like a taxi cab waiting outside the goddamn restaurant. It's not going to stop. And the longer you have hors d'oeuvres, the longer you stay for drinks, and the longer you stay for dessert, that taxi needs...
The one thing that's impressed me is their ability to keep confidence. To me, the run on the bank should have occurred in 2017, as far as I'm concerned. But
no.
Somehow they've got people on the hook here. Not quite sure. Can't explain it.
Well, because they did the correct song and dance in 2017 to explain why they didn't have what they promised at the end of 2016. And the reason why they've gotten away with it for so long is, again, they came out. This 2017 was a year they used every bit of carrot on a stick you could imagine, all the way down to the land sale.
Mm-hmm.
They've offered everything now. Okay, Chris Roberts just had Star Citizen rape his game over Pillars. What is it? Pillars of Creation? No, what is that? Richard Garriott, that new one.
Oh, no. Shroud of the Avatar.
Yeah. So Star Citizen just had a baby with that game at this point. Look for Chris to start selling blood, semen, hair extensions, otherwise, or offer his wife for acting or tickling. But
I don't know.
The fact of the matter is, he's offered everything you can possibly offer. There's nothing left to pitch. We're in space. We're now on a planet. We're in space. We already have planets. The only thing left for him to do is go underwater on the planets.
Hey, you're forgetting a big one. Mechs, man.
Oh, what's that? What am I forgetting?
Mechs. Personal armor, automation, whatever suits. I think.
Okay.
I think. That's
all right. We'll throw Robotech in there. Let's do that.
We've seen them kind of, I don't know.
I won't lie. I swear to God, if he could just pull off the Robotech alone thing, I'd withdraw my refund.
Evil.
I'm just kidding. Not really, but
they floated.
Who didn't want to play with a fighter? In a video. Who didn't? I ain't gonna lie.
Sure, but for any listeners out there that don't, spend the hour or two or more on this a week, there's a piece of equipment in their game called Titan Armor, and it's kind of like a mix between a mech and a piece of armor. And they've kind of been showing that here, there, and the other, and fans have gone pretty crazy for it. If they really want some more money, they'd probably roll a bigger version of that out. Anyways, let's see. Well, where were we?
So anyway, with the refunds.
Okay.
Now, so at that point that they dropped through, and it was just nothing near what it was, and I put my refund in. Okay. The very first thing that happened was it was denied in the same email. It was denied because it was outside the 14-day limit. then it was going to be, because of the age of the account, it was going to be sent to the escalation department. So please, be patient. And I don't hear anything for a couple of weeks. And then it's this Don Carnage guy. Don, if you're listening, I'm starting to get the feeling that's not really your name. And I kind of feel a little upset that you would deceive me like that. But anyway.
Cloud Imperium deceive people?
I know.
Get out of here, man.
And so back and forth, it was, a lot of him and hawing, seen the boilerplate on the Star Citizen refund website. Just be patient. We're going to go ahead and escalate this to a refund specialist who'll be right with you. All right. That was in January. All right. Here we are in April, the end of April. And not as late as last week. I got probably this will probably make the 10th email I've gotten saying, please be patient. A refund specialist will be right with you. And at this point, I've sent several more emails back asking for the direct communication email address or number for the office that this refund specialist is at. So I could find out why it's taking months. That is not an unreasonable response you could make to even the smallest of mom and pop businesses, correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. Radio silence. I've already...
I'm looking at things that happened this week, but your specialty is more on the business aspect.
Yes. So I look at that as a big red flag, right? There is no refund specialist. There's no such animal in all. I don't care. You can go through LinkedIn with the most finest of combs, and you will not find somebody.
I don't get too involved with shady companies, but isn't giving you a runaround for weeks and weeks kind of a normal thing that?
Not at all. And
I mean for these fly by night kind of shady businesses, just give you the runaround until you give up.
Oh yes, most definitely. You will do everything in your power, and you will pay a person up to a certain percentage of their salary to do what is called loss prevention.
Oh, okay.
And their entire job, their salary, is hinged on customer retention. Just like Comcast, they have a customer retention program. And if the people on their docket persist in their refund and achieve that, well, so many strikes and you're out.
Ah, maybe that's why there's a limit per month.
Mm-hmm. So I look at what I refunded for, which is no more than $20. Oh, and they have resisted me for months. They have blocked me from all of their social media.
Huh.
The only thing I have access to is what I still have bought and paid for. And that is the actual RSI game, which I have not logged in. When they changed their TOS to where they fail to hold themselves accountable anymore, it was after a 2-point-something upgrade. I refused to sign that, and I never installed that on my newer machines. So at that point, no company worth their salt would lack the integrity to fail to absolve themselves with the community that made their livelihood happen. Why would you deprive the very people that enriched you the ability to look at your financials when you are so horribly and grossly and incompetently behind your own imposed deadline.
You know, I was watching some kind of video with Chris behind a desk today. I forget why. You know, I spend about probably an hour or two on Star Citizen per day. And, you know, he's got these, it looks like an award and a card holder made out of glass on his desk. I'm just, I think one was made by fans, but it strikes me as odd that they spend all this money on non-game development stuff and really have no risk. I don't want to say it like that, but they really don't. They don't come clean with their backers as far as what they're spending money on.
Not at all. Not at all. And the fact, all right, and this is, you know, again, stop paying attention to what they're saying and look at what they're doing. All right. Because at the onset, all right, everybody that has given him money, all right, from that point forward, they can only be held accountable for what he said at that point previous. Correct?
In a court of law, I suppose.
In any sense. If at the time I start participating in the conversation, and up until that point in the conversation, so far all of his claims have come out semi-plausible and he's progressing along, well, then I have every indication that he knows what he's talking about. Because up until then, he's proven himself to be competent. And when you look at what at that point in the project's timeline was, see, this is the great thing. If you could, with Star Citizen Tracker, do like one of those linear timelines. You know what I'm talking about?
Not exactly, but I'm opening the
Like
site now.
Like a scrolling timeline, the same way that iTunes scrolls through your music history. If you could scroll through the Star Citizen timeline in that fashion, if you went back to that time when he was promising all of this and delivering all of that, they were somewhat in conjunction what was available with the technology we had at the time. It was the game he pitched. Which, quite honestly, if he stuck to that, if
Well, give us a hard date
GoFundMe
here.
told him,
what
if
date you talking about here?
Oh my God, I want to say as long ago as 2013.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I'm opening the Star Citizen Tracker right now, and yeah, I mean, we do put a date on every single line item, and
Right.
You'll notice right around February 2014, the slope of new features is pretty steady. And all of
Exactly.
a sudden, you look at January or February 2014, it just, boom, big old jump. I don't know exactly how to explain this, other than maybe that was the most active time that 10 for the Chairman show was running. But yeah, okay, so yeah, there was a dramatic change in what was being the stage that he was setting.
Well, because when I look at the track of this, just a linear track of this, at best, by what is that? April of 2018 on the far right of that chart.
Uh-huh.
At best, he would have gotten 300
million.
That's it. At best.
Oh, for what?
Like, do you see where the orange tracks up at 2018? Yeah, right there. Just scroll your mouse down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, at the far end, the high end green would be right there.
Okay, for completed items, you're saying right here on the chart.
Yeah, if you look at where the green point is, and you drop that all the way down, and then by virtue of that, you would cascade down the entire chart. If you took that green, just this is my assumption on gauging their project in the velocity of their trajectory. By the time of that point in origin, that green point would be hundreds and hundreds down, almost down to where the orange marker is.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm just using some random chart library here that just stacks them on top of each other, but yeah,
right. But you understand that's the concept.
Okay.
I just do not. It was at that point that is when he became untethered from the dock of plausible reality and what he could deliver.
Oh, okay, I see. So you're saying, basically, he never should have talked about 86% of these things that he's hyped the backers for.
Right.
Okay.
He knew he couldn't deliver that.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's kind of like what we were
Why
talking
don't you?
about.
Why don't you know? Why don't you know? Why? What is it about? What is it about his performance this far in this project? All right. And I'm not going to say he woke up in 2011 and said, "Hey, I'm doing this." No, this came before that. And Derek Smart did a very, very, very thorough investigation that he started doing this long before that even happened. So at that point,
it's like we were talking in the last
hold
episode.
on. At that point, he started calculating the numbers. Not how to build the game, but how to make the money. He started pitching it to different studios because as per the forums, which are vastly filled with people throughout the industry, have confirmed multiple times. All right, he's been sent out packing every time. Nobody wants to do business with him. He's just the antithesis of the Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to shit.
Yeah, well, what for clarity, a few people have pointed out that he stopped making games because he was basically thrown out of the industry at that point. He then went to Hollywood, tried to be an actor, I suppose, or
No, he wanted to be a producer.
Yeah,
and basically, he wanted to be a producer. He wanted to be a producer because the producer has the true creative input. They are the conduit between the money and the production.
Well, I think before that, with his Wing Commander movie, he wanted to be the director. That didn't work out.
Always,
then went
if
producership, that didn't work out, and then went somewhere else, which we have our speculations on, and now this is
a core aspect of his persona. All right, if you go back to his very early interviews, and I'm talking way back in Wing Commander days, and he talks about the time that his first time seeing Star Wars, and he wanted to basically redirect the movie, right? That if you go back and you read that interview, it's very telling. He doesn't have a creativity mind. He has I like this. I don't like what you did with it. I want you to do that. And so when you look at a lot of the Ryan works that are littered throughout Star Citizen, they are regurgitations of every trope in science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, we take note of all of these in the Something Awful thread for any listeners out there that need this further evidenced, but quite a lot of the concept art and different images that appear, mostly in YouTube, but sometimes in game, are quite derivative of, just kind of a copycat of what we've seen elsewhere in more successful endeavors.
Basically, Star Citizen, the entire universe, everything about it, the Wing Commander. These are all tropes of everything every science fiction movie has ever given us. The only thing he hasn't produced yet is a Transformer. That's it. He's going to produce a mech. He's going to produce a Transformer, or one and the same. You pick it. But outside of that, he's run out of stuff. That's it. The only thing he can offer is aliens. And I can't really see him pulling that off when he can't even do a female model for the very same game he's been in alpha for, almost a decade in. How can you not have a female model after all of these years? I mean, for God's sake, doesn't that wireframe come with the CryEngine? How does this not happen?
Yeah, you'd think it'd be just not easy, but I mean, you've
come
got,
on,
you can define a
look at
couple different
Fortnite.
player models. Yeah.
Look at Fortnite, for Christ's sake! It's a cartoon. Make something.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if it's a giant bikini that says "replace object here."
Well, we're here in year 5 or 6 of development.
No, not even close. Because when Chris Roberts stood in front of the world and begged for money and saying that he had started this well before now, all right, that was 2011.
Well, he was lying at that time, obviously. Anyways.
Well, he was lying then, or he's lying now. But either way, he's not delivered.
It's surprising that, this game where the main antagonist is an alien, that there doesn't seem to be any evidence of that working in the engine yet.
Well, here's the amazing thing. And if you pay attention to this on a far more
I'm sorry, Twitch chat. I keep looking down. I'm looking off to the left here instead of speaking right into the mic. Sorry, I was doing a lot better with that on the earlier episode.
So if you pay attention to the actual minutia of what Chris Roberts says, and what you're going to find is that these are all things he wants you to join in the belief of what he's doing. Because at no time are the things that exist right now can co-join with the things that he's saying out of his mouth. Those two are two entirely different products. And there's nothing that, if you were to take me to a court of law right now, there is not a jury on planet Earth that would see it any other way. They have misled every single person that has poured every single dime into this game. And to that poor little man Clifford that's put almost 70 grand into this game. You poor man. You have basically taken the equivalent of what it would take for two families to live comfortably at the poverty line, and you lit it on fire because you wanted to be a big baller on the internet and play video games. It's a disgusting display of wealth. And I hope nothing ever happens faster in this world than to be deprived of it all. You don't deserve it.
Well, I forget if we were talking about now or in the previous episode, but we were talking about the run on the bank. When do you see that? Or when do you see confidence just bottoming out?
Discovery. As soon as this judge says, not only is your motion to deny denied, but here's my discovery timetable. And since you wanted to cry about this before, when I instructed you to work this amongst yourselves to be civil, and you didn't want to, well, here's my timeline. And since you're going to be late and Skadden's not, expect sanctions. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a judge that is going to go, that is watched now for months as Ortwin has anally fisted his lawyer to sock puppet this dramatic display to the backers. Right? These poor people, this is what good lawyering looks to stupid people. Right? At no time did anything that CIG's lawyers have ever argued had anything to do with the case at hand. It's been nothing but an attempt to spread FUD, if it were. I think I'm going to... again, it's another Scientology quip. But at no time has Skadden brought forward anything other than solid testimony and verifiable truth. SIG will perish on their own sword the moment that the forensic results of the examination of Crytek code is going to produce. At that point, the fat lady is going to be hitting all of the fucking notes, okay? All of the notes.
Do we have any topics to get to here? I would struggle to argue against what you said concerning the case. I haven't seen anything really compelling here from the lawyers of CIG. Some of it's really, really insane. I'm looking here at the screen at the most striking case they wrote. Remarkably, the defendants rely on 2 cases where motions to stay discovery were denied. Got a little error here. I don't know if the Twitch stream dropped out or not.
It sounds like you get ready to mix a fresh beat, man.
I'm... see here. What else?
There you go. There you go.
Are you hearing me again?
There you go. Yeah, for the past 15 seconds or so, it sounded like you were Shaka Khan.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. OBS gave me some kind of error.
Other topics? Oh, of course. I would love to start talking really about the concentration on the sales of starships versus content in the game.
Okay, let's do that, and then I think we might call it here. I'm getting, I got things to do, and you got things to do.
You got it.
But yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll call it.
You got it. So the concentration of all of the forward-facing assets towards their ship sales versus the backlog of ships that they haven't delivered to money they've already taken in shows a huge gap in their competency.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, mining and trade and whatever, actual game mechanics were a big topic for me. And you look at how many mechanics they implement per year versus the number of ships they put. They got a lot of energy and a lot of attention and a lot of people involved with making these ships. The backer fixation with ships is really unexplainable to me, but hey, it reminds me of this. Prior to World of Warcraft, or take your own MMO into consideration here. Okay. Spend quite a bit of time looking at those different classes and their abilities, and I understand that. And maybe the ships are kind of the stand-in for that. Is that where all of this stems from? Is kind of trying to choose and find your perfect class?
Okay. Well, partly yes, partly it has everything to do with this is an entire swath of the gaming community that has self-labeled themselves as Han Solo
Right.
or, insert space hero here. And what they've got is they have got a direct vein tap in to somebody that has promised them they're going to get this game and then pull a Billy Mays and say, but wait, there's more. Because the money came in too fast. It came in too swift. There are no financial controls on Kickstarter that say, okay, the stuff that you earned X, you can't have anything else, and you can't have anything according afterwards until you perform these basic things that you pledged your Kickstarter on. And there should be financial accountants that should hold these fraudulent companies like this accountable. They should not have free reign on free wealth. Just because they came up with what they lucked out on was a industry trend that they predatorily monopolized on. Chris took the best of all of the fun space, sci-fi, whatever tropes, and he kit bashed it all into this one thing, and here you go.
Well, we're sitting here at 1,982 days since Kickstarter ended. How many years is that?
Oh, God, let's do the math.
Here, I'm pulling it up on Google.
I hear the clicks. I don't want my head math to clash with
we're
it.
at 5.4 years since Kickstarter ended. It seems like you should probably deliver on what you were selling people. I mean, I'm just throwing out a number here, but after 3 years, it gets a little stale, doesn't it?
Oh! Ouch. It does get a little stale.
Now, I'm always curious about their war chest, their financial health.
Okay.
In my opinion, there has to be more than. This is a complicated subject because you're kind of going into, are the numbers they're telling us true?
No.
Are there other investors elsewhere?
Yes.
There's a lot of different questions, and you're throwing out some answers there that I'm in complete agreement with.
All right. You have one that's been on your show a couple of times, and that's Mr. Bucha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He was one of those.
Let's not call it my show because I'm perfectly happy if someone else wants to record an episode or two, because I need a vacation here in about 2 weeks.
Talk to me later.
All right.
Long story short is, when it comes to hidden investors, okay, that is the most crucial and most truthful vein that all of us united can point to. He was one of those. All right. How many Buchas are there out there? That's the math.
One question I keep forgetting to ask Bucha does he have this kind of business development experience? Has he done this kind of, I hesitate to call it angel investing, but that's really the most common term I think people would be familiar with in terms of this kind of investment. How many of those are there out there? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
I have to think I want to think not many, but what about other studios or people that were caught, some kind of investment that was caught up in the hype of 2013?
Listen to me.
Sure.
I absolutely love Bucha. I think he's a great guy. I love his videos. I think he's got a great personality, a good grip on life, a great sense of humor, fantastic guy. His videos give us a glimpse into his life, and he's very generous with that. And I love the fact that when he gets personal with it, he's either wearing a low-brimmed hat that he's pointing down to, or he has that really funny space helmet on. And one thing that I gather from all of that is that he lives a very modest life. I love you, Bucha, but I am going to question the thought process of someone who lives in such a manner to spend the kind of money you did on the idea of a video game.
Well, let's leave it at that. But what I will say is, there's a lot of people that put in, just for the ships or just at the backer level. And
right, but look at the people that have.
They pull out.
Look at Clifford. Okay, look at that Clifford Miku guy.
Okay.
Who's almost 70 grand in and loves every.
Okay.
Every bit of it. He loves to post about every new purchase. And I think the last photo of his that I saw that he posted was almost 60 grand. So I can only imagine by the scale of which he spends, it's got to be close to 70. If not, he's tipped 60.
Well, the last number I saw was like 53, but okay. And the one thing I like about Bucha, and we shouldn't talk too much about him while he's not here, but
I'm not. I love him. And you know what? The fact that he got his money back out, I love the fact that he had the self-awareness to go, no, I believed in what you were doing and the ROI that I was putting in. But the fact of someone that didn't have really that kind of money to just go, how about another 18 holes?
Uh-huh. Well, the thing that I want to say about
Bucha's an everyman. Bucha is an everyman.
Uh-huh.
Bucha's not a rich. This is not a derogatory at Bucha. This is a praise of Bucha. This is a defense of Bucha. Bucha is everyman. He is people like you, people like me, people that work hard. We save our money. And if we're going to spend on something we believe in because what you're selling is sound. And when it went off the rails, Bucha's like, no, this is not happening. And you're not doing it with money. I don't have it to just light my ass with $100 bill. No. Star Citizen, Chris Roberts, all of them are complicit in trying to take advantage of that everyman. Oh no, this is not a derogatory. If anything, the reason why I rise against Chris Roberts is in defense of people like that. You took advantage of people that don't have that kind of money to give.
I agree.
I agree. Nobody put a gun to his head, but you made the offer that compelling. So either one or two things are happening. You're lying to good, hardworking men, or you're taking advantage as a predator towards those that can't tell the difference.
Can't argue.
And I don't take Bucha, and I'm not going to take Bucha as being that mentally deficient. So the only thing left is you lied. You took advantage and you tried to steal from a man that didn't have that to give. I have no qualms when you read in the paper about this bank getting hacked or stolen for whatever millions of dollars, whatever. I'm not feeling your pain while you're living on your private island. But people like Bucha, right? They don't have that kind of money to give. And to me, you are beyond human garbage at that point. His fight became my fight at that point.
Well, I think one thing for me about Bucha is, he didn't go quietly.
No.
I mean, it would be easy to just say, okay, I got my money back. I'm done with this. Bye-bye, everybody. But he didn't do that, did he?
No, because just like I told B, you don't stop being a victim.
Yeah. That phrase has been kind of rattling in my mind because I sit here as someone with, no, I don't have an investment in this. Yet I keep coming back to it. Probably mostly for the hilarity, but also for, I guess, the drama and, the audacity of it all.
As I stated in my last sign-off, this is nothing but a roller coaster ride at the hubris of Chris Roberts.
Now,
I think there's nothing more despicable. I don't think there's anything more despicable.
When are we going to be able to tell when the gig is up? I mean, when
the gig is already up. Look, 3.0 was flogged in our face well before it was ever released. You will see, you naysayer, Goonie scum, la la la. It never stopped. Okay. 3.0 and come. There was nothing about that release that I would ever want my name attached to. That was an embarrassment.
It is.
To this day, it's still an embarrassment. This is nothing short of rollback simulator.
I was listening to a podcast I never listened to this week, and a lot of podcasts are financed by different products, this, that, and the other thing. And they had a very interesting pitch. You don't have to buy anything, just go on the website and look at it. I could kind of almost imagine Jared making that exact same thing, that exact same pitch. You don't have to buy a ship, just go on the website and look at them. It was very slimy. It was like, whoa, this is CIG level slimy, what I was hearing this guy lay down. And I was thinking, as soon as I hear that, I know the money is in dire, dire, dire straits. Now,
of course,
the only thing, it was kind of a very slick, kind of a slick idea. You don't have to buy anything; just go on the website. I'm thinking, I don't know if Jared can come up with such a pitch like this, but if I ever hear something like that, it's done. It's weeks, not months out from collapse.
Well, the interesting thing about Jared is he is a survivor. That is one thing he has excelled at for a very long time. On some levels, he's a very kindred soul to mine. One thing I'm going to say is Jared is loyal as long as the checks cash. I can guarantee you to the moment that either he's let go or laid off, or his last paycheck suddenly didn't cash and he shows up and there's locks on the doors, you're going to see a shitstorm of epic proportion. I have no reservation.
So you're saying he is going to flip? He's going to what? Clarify there.
He's loyal to his paycheck.
Okay. So
Self-preservation is Jared's stock and trade.
Uh-huh.
All right, that is the end of discussion. He will soft shoe, song and dance, cut and saw, glue, stitch and nail, sing and swim for his paycheck. He's fine with that. And there's a work ethic there in a kind of unorthodox way, be okay with. Does he know it's bullshit? Of course he does.
I don't see. I'm not going to argue it. I believe. All
right. Well, here
he knows.
You have
he
to.
Knows a lot.
You
can't be.
He does. He does. No, he's not a stupid man. No. At no point do I think that Hobo Lando is a stupid man. What you have to pay attention to is the silence in the conversation. Jared is a smart man. Why is he reducing himself to bullshit conversations? All right. If they were delivering, see, this is where you have to look at the pride of CIG and Chris Roberts and Sandy and Ben. You have to look at the vast amount of pride that these people possess, narcissism, all of the selfish, self-centered portions of, wanting to amp up their position in life. If they were completing these technological marvels, even by small gaps, they would spend no amount of money to promote and scream that from the highest of mountaintops. Sandy posts pictures of some animator screen making a T-pose doll. No, those should be filled with, all right, here is the jump gate to the 57th system that was procedurally generated. Feel me?
Yeah.
Why is that not happening? Pay attention to the silence. He would be in the programmer's room with his little janky ass fucking phone camera, what have you, going, dude, I'm leaking this. And right over the fucking animator's shoulder. I mean, come on. Pay attention to what they're not showing you. Because if they had it, they'd be boasting it.
Yeah.
Look at the, just look at how they are, how they roll, and then wonder, why aren't they doing that here?
Where it counts.
Exactly.
I mean, how many quest givers do we need to see? All 7 of them, apparently.
I would be happy. Before any quest giver. No, just deliver on your stretch goals.
On the foundation, yeah.
That's it.
I think that's
deliver on that.
I think that's all we got time for here this week. Dapper, thanks so much for being, you're fast on your way to be a regular here.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love your show. I love Star Citizen Tracker. It is the one thing I really start pointing a lot of people to across social media when they want to argue about talking points. I want to show them facts. Argue with the numbers. So thank you for bringing that to us, and thank you for your time and having a discussion with me.
No problem. It's just part of the ARG, part of the metagame, part of the collapse, long slow motion collapse. This is your virtual captain. I'm going to see you guys next week, or whenever, maybe Saturday. I'm signing out. Have a good one. See ya.